today we are going to take you into the kitchen and we're going to show you how to ferment vegetables 5 ways. Yes, 5 different ways. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I've only fermented 2 out of the 5 today, so we're going to be learning together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thankfully, when I was doing some research on how to ferment the other 3 that I've never done before, I found that the process was pretty straightforward and similar to the other ones that I fermented. Why would you eat fermented vegetables or even make them yourself? That is a great question. Sometimes we can buy fermented foods at the store. Depending on where your grocery store is, you can buy fermented pickles. Fermented cucumbers are pickles, and then you can also buy sauerkraut, so that's cabbage. Number 1 is fermented vegetables are perfect for our digestion. Taking in probiotic foods or a probiotic supplement can help you digest your food even better and harvest the nutrients from the food that you're spending so much time and care to prepare for your body. So this is a great perk to eating a probiotic. Gut bacteria, believe it or not, they help produce vital nutrients that we need in our bodies. So B5, B6, B12, these are vitamins that we need for brain health and multiple other functions in our body. So our energy depends on this. Also vitamin K, which helps promote strong bones, healthy blood clotting. Number 3 is eating probiotic foods helps reduce harmful bacteria and balance out the good ones. So introducing good gut bugs will help reduce the population of unhealthful ones. Overpopulation of E. coli, overpopulation of candida. We want to have some of those, but we don't want to have such a high amount that it's causing us distress. 4th one is that it can help diversify the bacteria in your gut and provide a more colorful array of gut flora, if you will. So what does that do for you? It helps produce more short-chain fatty acids. It helps to support our immune system by decreasing inflammation inside of our body and starting with the gut. Additionally, if you've taken a course of antibiotics recently, probiotic foods can help you rebuild your gut flora that were wiped out from the course of antibiotics. Welcome back for another video on my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kara. I'm a holistic health coach and gut health specialist. I've helped myself heal my gut, heal my depression, lose 30 pounds, and I'm helping my clients do the same. Subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss another video and another opportunity to do the same in your own life. So we're going to be doing cucumbers, cabbage, carrots, asparagus, and beets. I've never fermented beets, asparagus, or carrots before, but I'm really intrigued to do that. This is not too complicated. Let's dive in and I'll show you what you need to get started as well. We're going to start with the sauerkraut first. I'm really close right now. So we're going to cut the end off and we're going to divide it into quarters. Add them to your bowl. Every time you add a quarter to the bowl, in total we're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of salt. So I'm going to add a little bit of that every single time. Start massaging the cabbage by squeezing them with the leaves. This is what you want to see. You want to see it start to be juicy like this, and this is exactly the point where I'm ready to put it in the jar. Pack it into this jar. Push it down with your fist, nice and tight. You guys think I'll be able to get all of this in there? I think this happened to me last time too, where I ended up having like a really large cabbage. It was just like I couldn't even use the whole thing. I could make 2 jars of sauerkraut, but today we're only making 1. It's always good to leave, a bit of space at the top because we want to put something on top to weigh down. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have to push this cabbage down. Take this baby away and we're going to store it in a cool place. Alright, next we're going to go with the cucumbers. And I would pick 5 to 8, small Persian cucumbers like this. And before we do anything, we're going to take our jar and we are going to put our spices and garlic in the bottom. Put 2 tablespoons of salt in here. You can do 1 to 2. I will do 2 because I like that garlicky flavor. So I actually just poured a little bit more water on top. If you can see, there's like an inch of water in between this cucumbers and the top of the jar, and that's going to be very important. So basically the cucumbers, they don't start to mold as we continue this process. In order to capture the water, you're going to put it on a plate, and we'll keep an eye on it in the next few days. So next we're going to do our carrots, and so as you see, I've peeled these already just to get the extra dirt off. There's something called botulism, that it's a bacteria that can make you sick. These types of things where we're actually culturing bacteria, we need to make sure that we're removing those really harmful ones in a large concentration. So we're going to set these aside, and then we're going to use 3 garlic cloves this time. So same as the pickle, we're going to stuff the carrots in. So I think I'm going to do something like this. Wedged in there, you know, because I've never fermented these before. I think also because it's kind of an uncommon vegetable to ferment. They get into sustainable living and kind of being more self-sustaining, eating more probiotic foods in addition to that self-sustenance. Alright, so we're gonna make that brine again. Most resources say 1.5 to 1 tablespoon of salt. This is coarse sea salt. 1 tablespoon for 1.5 cups of water right now, because that's how much I think water is going to fit in there, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit more. So again, you can see I have water over the top. I'm actually going to pour a little bit more, and then we're going to lightly cover it, and then just barely twist it on so the gases can escape. We're gonna check this. Actually start checking these carrots in about 3 days, but once they're done, they can be kept up to like 6 months in the fridge. So for the asparagus, we're actually going to do something similar to the carrots. We're gonna chop the woody ends off. We're gonna use 3 cloves of garlic. Okay, as you can see, I already chopped off the woody ends to this asparagus, and I am going to put a little peppercorns in the bottom, put a little bit of dill, and just like we did with the others, we are going to stuff in the asparagus. We're gonna need to wait for this one. I'd imagine that some of these will still float to the top, even though I've done a good job kind of stuffing them in. That's what I'm anticipating. So, and for 2 cups of water, stir that up, dissolve it. So I put my weight on top, and I've got my asparagus submerged inside the water. I'm gonna pour some water in top of this jar. We're gonna cover this one with a towel too. Okay, so the last one is beets. I saved it for last because it's usually the messiest, but we're gonna follow a similar formula where we're gonna put the spices on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that. Pepper, corn, dill, and garlic. And I've washed these thoroughly by now. So I'm gonna try to pack these in here so they don't move, but I have a feeling that these are gonna try to float, because they're more circle shaped. Are any of them floating? None of them are floating. Another lid. Bring it on just ever so slightly so the gas can get out. Put it on a plate. Let's take it away. on, let's check on the fermented stuff. Asparagus. Okay, so I'm just making sure that it's still below the water. I'm covering everything up again. I actually put a cabbage leaf on top of these beets. I read on the internet that this can prevent cabbage from, the beets from floating to the top. I just wasn't sure what was going to happen over the next several days to a week with these, but when I checked on them earlier today, nothing was floating to the surface. It is starting to smell like a brew, and then as you can see, nothing is touching the top. Just shoving that cucumber down, and that bubbling, that's what we want to see. We want to start seeing some froth. Carrots, scum on the top, good, very good. And then with this kraut, we want to mash it down even more. We're supposed to mash it down every day. And then you want to make sure that the kraut is also submerged inside of its juices too. So we're going to let this sit for at least 2 days. And my place is pretty warm, so basically if it's a warmer environment, it ferments faster. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind as I continue to check it. Day 2 until day 3, but just checking on them. It looks like this is the beets. Carrots, nice. I had to put some jars inside to keep them because as they were fermenting, they were floating to the top. And if that happens, then it's not good. It all needs to be submerged by water. It's starting to have an aroma, like a fermented aroma, but it's not overpowering. See what I mean here? These things keep floating, it keeps doing that. Anyway. Needs more time though. It's very tangy. Give it a few more days. I like them. I'm gonna let them sit a little longer. I'm a little concerned about the asparagus because they smell a little bit odd, like not good odd. Yeah, I'm not sure if these turned out right. I'm not sure if these are done or if they're bad, but I'm gonna do a little more research and go ahead and see what happens. Sauerkraut. Tastes like it's on the right track. Needs some more time though. I'm gonna check them every day up to 2 weeks. So I don't think it's gonna take that long because my place is a little bit warm, but yeah. So it's day 5 and the beets, that actually happened for me replacing this cabbage cap. The beets are tasting awesome. The pickles I'm actually gonna put in the fridge today on day 5. I don't think that it needs any more time out. And then also these carrots, the beets, and then the sauerkraut, I'm gonna let ferment at least 1 more day. But the asparagus, I'm feeling really sad because it didn't turn out. It smells really bad. It smells like a really bad fart. And that is how you know if your fermented food is not actually, if it went bad. And it tastes funky in a way that isn't fermented funky. It's kind of hard to explain, but it kind of smells really stinky, kind of like gas. So keep that in mind as you're fermenting your foods, just as you're checking on them. And then the biggest thing I've learned is don't let air touch the actual fermenting food. You have to pay attention and you have to add extra water if they're gonna turn out. So it hasn't been as easy as I hoped learning how to do this. It is worth it because now I don't have to pay $6-7 for this individually. I've done it in my own kitchen, and these beets taste really good and the carrots taste even better than maybe pickles. So really, really good. Hanging out in the fridge now, we tasted them. Everything tasted amazing, so we decided we're gonna stop the fermentation process. Just eat them now. So I'm pretty sad because the asparagus didn't turn out, but the other ones turned out great.